The gas pump says a 1,000-mile road trip costs $117. The IRS says that exact same road trip costs $700. And the IRS is right. That's the real cost of driving a car once you count everything, and it's only half the story. Because by the end of this video, you'll also see why New York and Seoul tore out entire highways, and traffic got faster. When you plan a road trip, you probably do the same math everyone does. You check gas prices, estimate your mileage, and divide. A 1,000-mile trip at 30 miles per gallon with gas at $3.50 a gallon comes out to about $117. Sounds reasonable? Sounds cheap even. But the IRS doesn't agree. For 2025, they set the standard business mileage rate at 70 cents per mile. And for 2026, it's climbing to 72.5 cents. That same 1,000-mile trip? The IRS says it actually costs $700. They're not being generous. They're being mathematical. Their rate accounts for fuel, depreciation, insurance, maintenance, tires, and registration, and that's the true cost of moving a car down a road. So AAA confirms this. Their 2025 Your Driving Costs study, a report they've published annually since 1950, found that owning and operating a new vehicle averages $11,577 per year. Depreciation alone runs $4,334 annually, which works out to about 29 cents per mile. Your car loses value with every single mile you drive it, and most people never factor that in. The U.S. Department of Energy puts the average cost per mile at 58 cents. Drivers who only cover 7,000 miles a year see costs climb to $1.10 per mile because those fixed expenses like insurance and depreciation get spread across fewer miles. So let's itemize that 1,000-mile trip like a receipt. Gas, $117. That's the number everyone stops at. Depreciation, at 29 cents a mile, $290. Yes, the value your car silently loses is more than double what you paid at the pump. Maintenance and tires, about $100. Insurance for those miles, roughly $150. Add registration and finance charges. And there's your $700. The gas was never the cost, it was the tip. But here's where it gets genuinely strange. In 1968, a 29-year-old German mathematician named Dietrich Braess published a paper proving something that sounds impossible. Adding a road to a traffic network can make everyone's commute slower. This became known as Braess Paradox, and the logic behind it is surprisingly simple. Imagine two routes to the beach, each taking an hour. Traffic splits evenly. Everyone arrives in 60 minutes. Now add a shortcut connecting them. Every driver thinks the shortcut is faster, so every driver takes it. The result? Everyone funnels through the same bottleneck, and everyone arrives later than before. When every driver independently picks the route that looks fastest to them, a new shortcut gets overwhelmed almost immediately. Everyone floods the same path, and the entire network suffers. Braess wrote that if every driver takes the path most favorable to them, the resulting travel times need not be minimal, and that single observation changed how transportation researchers think about city planning. And it's not just theory. In 1990, New York City's Transportation Commissioner closed 42nd Street for Earth Day. Everyone predicted catastrophe. Instead, traffic flow improved with no gridlock on surrounding streets, just better movement everywhere. In 2009, the city shut down Broadway between 42nd and 47th Streets, and travel times along Broadway dropped 15%. They made the closure permanent. Seoul took this even further. In 2003, Mayor Lee Myung-bak began removing an elevated highway that had been carrying 168,000 cars every single day. Transportation experts called it reckless. By 2005, they'd replaced the highway with a restored urban stream called Cheonggyecheon, and what happened next surprised almost everyone. Air pollution dropped 35%. Temperatures in the area fell by 3.5 degrees Celsius. Bird and insect populations surged 639%. And traffic? Average speeds across downtown barely changed. 500,000 people now visit the creek every week. Researchers studying Boston's road network put a number on all of this. Selfish routing, every driver optimizing only for themselves, wastes 30% more time than socially optimal routing. Think about what that actually means. On a 1-hour drive, that's 18 minutes lost. Not to accidents, not to construction, to math. to thousands of individually reasonable decisions stacking into one collectively terrible outcome. And here's the part most of us don't like. The navigation app on your dashboard is doing exactly this. Every GPS is optimizing for one driver at a time, which is precisely the behavior Braess proved can make the whole network slower. As mathematician Cheonggyecheon at Rockefeller University explains, in congested networks, adding a new street probably makes things worse at least half the time. Half the time. A coin flip, with a price tag of millions in asphalt. So here's what the math actually tells us. Your road trip costs far more than the gas in your tank. The road you're driving on may be slowing your journey rather than speeding it up, and the whole system is built around individual decisions that collectively make everything worse for everyone. The equation isn't banned, it's just ignored. And that might be the most expensive mistake drivers make. That's the real cost of driving, and there's a road trip I haven't costed yet. Subscribe so the next one doesn't cost you.